I don't know if it happens to everybody every lifetime, but I know that you can definitely, I know because it's happened to me, it's happened to me right now, where you can look back at all your whole life, no matter how bad, heinous, good, or crazy, dumb, mistakes, everything, and just love it. You get a kind of feeling of kind of funny, comical funny, and a feeling of awe about how perfect you are. The universe. The universe. A universe. A human. A universe. And maybe not every person gets to this every lifetime. I don't even think it's probably a smaller number than I think to genuinely feel. I mean, I have no qualms, no regret, no revenge, no anything that ever happened to me. I just look at it, it's kind of funny because of how things work out, and I'm filled with just awe for how life works. And you can get to this feeling, and it's real, and I think it's kind of a physical representation of your reality catching up to your new vibrational state. And if you keep raising it, your reality can struggle sometimes to catch up with you. You know, it can lag behind. It can struggle. You're like a beast, and all you're doing is fucking raising your frequency day after day. You can feel sort of drained and certain other things. It's slightly different than normal tiredness. It's like you're not tired, but a squirrel just fucking walked right in front of me, like 4 feet away. That's why I looked over. I was like, oh shit. But you really are. You are tired. It's just different, but it's your reality struggling to keep up with you. But it's not gonna struggle forever. Because you get more efficient, you get better, you start seeing things change faster and faster as you teach yourself that it is really going faster. Your belief thickens up, your reality follows that belief even better, and it just snowballs into oblivion. But for me realizing, coming to that conclusion where I'm really just completely free from my past, just completely free from everything from my past, anything. It's not me anymore. And so that's the reality. I feel like it's something that happens when reality kind of catches up with you finally. And I've been saying these last few days it felt different, and this is another thing. That feeling of complete acceptance of your whole life. Not even acceptance. You don't even think about it because it's like it's just not even important. It's so freeing. That is accompanied with your reality catching up with you. Your most maintained frequency. It's all you can't hold the exact same frequency forever. Maybe you can, but I don't know. You have a mix. You have a general mix. Mine seems to be these days. If I'm being honest, let's take the last week, but definitely the last 3 days. Mostly excitement for the future. I know the future doesn't exist, but sometimes you say things to get your point across. Jeez. Just excitement in general. Proud and gratitude for my talents and the things I've built so far. Proud of mostly trying to get this going on my own, even though I could have asked for more help. There's something important about being independent, figuring life out, having a stint of life where you really got to figure out who you are on your own. You got to have that, I think. So that's awesome. So I've just been feeling great lately, like not just fucking great. Resting, smoking, meditating, creating. Happy to be alive, genuinely. And now I'm 42, just turned 42 in March. Most of my life was, I look back now, then it just seemed like normal life. And I would say, my life was, decent childhood, blah, 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 not really. But whatever, that's neither here nor there. What I was trying to say is when I look back, it just seemed kind of normal. But now when I'm living it, now when I look back with my standpoint now, um, I wasn't gonna, the point was not to say that my life was bad. No, that's not what I was saying. I was going somewhere else with this. I forget where I was going with that. Either way, I got a different viewpoint on it now. A good one. It always gets me when that happens. If I would just stick on the topic at hand and stop flying off on tangents every fucking willy-nilly, I'd be able to come back home. I'd stay home and I wouldn't. But I don't even care. Yeah, I'm already gotten so used to it now, I don't even care. Where it used to irk me if I couldn't remember something. And I would make it worse by trying hard to remember instead of just let it go. Anyway, the relief I'm feeling this last week, nothing but good. And so, in that moment, it's been a whole week of feeling all these good emotions. Not that there's anything bad with feeling bad emotions. It's part of the system. It really is. You need everything. But you get to a certain phase where you can tailor it more to what you want and have the bad emotions be dimmed just enough to make sure you're not stagnant and you're always growing, always learning something new or something like that. But there's not going to be the same as my first let's say 38 years here. So it was just struggle. Oh, that's what I was getting at. It was normal, but really, as I look back from this perspective, it always happens. I was struggling and surviving, not really knowing anything about the universe, thinking so many fraudulent thoughts and belief systems and misconceptions, like I should by 30 at least be this or that or this, put anything in there. All dumb, all stupid, all dumb. But it's like you can't even be mad because now that it all happened for you just that way so you can become who you are now. So it's like you can't even go back and be mad at it. You want to be mad at it almost. It's like a habit to be angry at your past or to be angry like even if someone does something to you. Say people went behind your back some kind of way and tricked you out of something, right? It could be anything. Maybe you got inherited some money and people kept it, or maybe anything. I don't know. Maybe someone, stole your cheeseburger or something, or whatever. Doesn't even matter. Trick maybe a romantic partner to go the wrong way or something like that, or it could be anything. But you look at it and you can't even be mad. You can't even be mad because you try to be mad. It's like you have a habit of, oh, that's what happened. But you can't stay mad for only a split second because you're like, no. Because it worked out for me. They actually played right into my hands. You took my cheeseburger, but you didn't know that I didn't know that I was allergic to cheeseburgers. So it worked out. You know what I mean? Something like that. It's like that saying where if a person does something by the wrong means to try to get the right outcome will work wrongly for that person. And then or something like that. I don't know. I never get that one right. It's so fucking hard to remember. Anyway, you get the picture. So, I get into this moment of like, I'm getting kind of angry. And then it just washes away because I'm like, no, I'm in a better place than I've ever been because precisely these things. Be it my struggles from being born to now, the whole life experience, you can look at it that way. Or one single incident, you can pluck one single incident of wrongdoing done to you. And if you've become aware enough and lived enough experience, you can see how it worked out for you. How if that didn't happen, this wouldn't happen. That wouldn't happen. That wouldn't happen. That wouldn't happen. And I wouldn't be here being all wise and shit. Right? That's not to give your power away to anyone. You've done 99% of the work yourself. These are just the universe giving you just what you need to move you along. Right? But you're the one sitting and meditating every day, reading the books, listening to the people, practicing it all, So don't give your power of accomplishment to anyone. They're just fucking peanut gallery. But my point is, you don't get mad anymore, and it happens naturally, like a natural mechanism, because you just know. It pops in your head, wait, it helps you out. Why are you mad? Why are you mad? You almost still want to be mad. You're like, I just want to be mad at them. Well, how dare they, But really, the universe played them. Let them do their things. The universe is great. It's the manager, the grand manager, the best manager there is. It knows the potential of every outcome, no matter what choice, instantly. can backcheck, look at it from any angle. It's like, all right, well, we're going to let him do it because there's no chance that he doesn't benefit from this greatly. There's no chance. So let him do it. And then it's what happened. So it's a tool, so I can't be mad. I cannot be mad at all. I can only be happy. And I've been happy. This past year has been a whirlwind of advancement for me as far as emotional guidance, emotional control, emotional awareness, emotional intelligence, and how important focus is, even though I already knew that before going into this past year. I've already learned a lot of stuff before going into this past year, before anything happened. I already learned most of this stuff, but now I'm super practiced, and I'm still going. I'm not stopping because I have a belief that there's no end to how good you can get in a certain subject, be it guitar, be it hot dog eating contest, or be it deliberate creation. There's no limit, there's no roof. And if you have that belief and it's true, then it will be true for you. But most people have a belief, oh, you get old, you start to fall apart, or your mind's not the same. You can't teach an old dog new tricks. So hopefully that's not a belief some of you guys actually believe. You gotta check your beliefs. It's gonna fuck you up. You get old and all of a sudden you can't do shit anymore. You can't learn shit anymore. But if you use your brain, I'm sure most people with the internet have seen 80-year-olds more active than some 30-year-olds, 40-year-olds, in better shape, more active. They're out there, so something must be up. And then what most people say? Genetics. And that's a blanket thing. Now they don't have to figure out what's really going on. They got their answer and they don't have to look for it. It just cuts them right off from the truth. But, that's their belief, and whatever you believe, even if it's a vague belief like that you don't even think about at all, you just say genetics, go back on your day, well, then now you're succumb, because of that belief you have in there, or succumb to your family's genetics. You believe it. Don't even think about what you believe. Fuck that shit. I don't believe that shit. I believe something different. It's more about how you're feeling in each moment and where you're focusing. You might have a basic blueprint when you start in here, but it's more malleable than you think, than anyone thinks. You realize you can go from really rigid to completely water-like. And where things, just synchronicities just happen at the right time you would have never thought, and your life can change in a blink of an eye. How many people have you ever thought or seen or heard say that? Well, I started here, I hit rock bottom, blah, blah, but this happened, and then, fuck, before you know it, I was here. You know what I mean? Or something like that. So it's almost like I want to say with this is, just keep going. Don't. Just look. Here's something real. I've been through a lot of stuff in my life. I've been pretty happy-go-lucky, just let it roll off my shoulder, so I'm lucky for that. But there's been some times where that wasn't the case, and there was one time where I kind of heard the way Robin Williams died, and I was like, that seems kind of smart. And I was pretty close to doing that. I was already set up and everything. But so I'm gonna say, don't. And this is coming from someone who knows that death doesn't really exist, not in that way. But it doesn't mean you want to go killing yourself, because it's gonna take so much longer when you can just learn it and stay here and have a good time. You know what I mean? It's nothing serious, but it doesn't mean that. So, but I was there, and this is just a perspective thing for you, okay? And now I'm here. So this whole video, this one I think can and will get better. If it's not this lifetime, it'll be next lifetime, or the next 100 lifetimes, or 1,000 lifetimes, or whatever you got going on. I've just shifted so fast from so many different versions of myself. I got turned around deeply, so deeply that I was in that position. But I couldn't do it. I just couldn't do it. I can't say how close I was to do it. I don't think maybe that close, but I was close enough to be in the act, which is saying something. I think I was flirting with it. Because at that time, too, I still had kind of a belief that death is not really what you think it is also. So there was that, too. But anyway, just to help people out here. If you find yourself just in a just fucking crazy circumstance, you got no independence, maybe you find out people manipulating you way too late and you can't get out of it, or you just made too many mistakes in your life and you feel like you're just doomed to just be this whatever, or maybe you feel like you're just a horrible person, that's just who you are, or whatever it could be. You always can change. You've always seen people who say they change. Some of it's true. Some of it's true. A lot of it does happen in the jail system too, I noticed. A lot of that's true. But so no one wants a bright-eyed, bushy-tailed person coming up. Just like, cheer up, just cheer up. Because sometimes it's just not that simple. It's just not that simple. It's not. Even when you get all this stuff, sometimes it's just not that simple. It's just not. But it is that simple at the same time. It's such a paradox. It is that kind of a thing. Lighten up, cheer up. Things will get better. I'm living proof. So are lots of other humans. So if you're in a bad situation right now, it can get better. And it will get better faster if you have a little bit of hope. Although hope is kind of sucky. Hope means you don't really know and just kind of like, hope. But hope can maybe get you on their way to trusting and to knowing. And to knowing so well that you're not even thinking about it, you knowing it anymore. Like you walking, breathing, or some things like that, Let me start with some hope. I can give you some hope. I think that's it. Such a beautiful day. Yeah, I think that's it. I always wait for a little bit to see if anything comes in. Something's telling me to wait a little bit. And I understand how energy works, so I know if I'm feeling like I just grabbed onto a little good energetic feeling just now. And I know that when I talk, it portrays through my voice, through the speakers, through your ears, and you get some of that energetic feeling too. I know that's going on through the internet. The internet is a great kind of transaxle kind of thing with that energy. People are being able to get with their tribe without actually having to do it physically. And people being able to get energy healing through the internet. It's all sound, it's all intention, vibration, and we're all connected in one homogeneous thing. When you look at it that way, you can see how it can be true. But I gotta tell you guys too that there's for sure, someone is looking into this, there's for sure amplification of kind of telepathic mind reading type stuff while you have your headset on. Because I never talk to my people. I just play. I don't like mics off, whatever. But my headset's on. I'm playing Rocket League. I swear, thoughts will come to my head that I would never say. After things would happen in Rocket League, mean things that I would never say. And I'm like, I swear I'm picking up on what these fuckers are saying or thinking. Someone needs to look into that. Something to do with electricity. I know magnetism, electricity work, or things that have on wires, and something to do with the internet, and maybe the headset with the brain, the speakers, the magnets on the brain, maybe. Something to do with that. I swear. Or maybe it's just me. Or maybe if some people can do it, some people can't. I swear I'll be hearing these people be saying some shit. And I'm like, I would never say that. Sometimes it happens in real life too, in crowded situations. It makes me feel bad for some people that may be super receptive, but have no emotional control or knowing what's going on. They could be tricked into a high emotional state where they might say something that really is not what they believe. It just comes out in their anger or their whatever because someone else is thinking it. And then they get blamed for it. I think that's a real thing that can fucking happen. But it's neither here nor there. I knew something else would come out eventually. I'm already forgotten where was going, so whatever. It gets easier, guys. It really does. You literally get to a point where you're actually loving life. It's not a joke. It's cliche and dumb and cheesy, yes, but it's true. It's fucking true. Where you actually see life as this perfect thing where nothing can go wrong. Everything happens just the right way. Every single time, no matter what a naysayer that is trapped in their old thinking might bring up, because when you say something that, it triggers certain minds to be like, well, what if a toddler gets ran over or gets sexually abused at the age of whatever or blah, blah, blah. Every single thing. Hard to believe. And I will throw this at you. I don't use the word God, but do you think God makes mistakes? So, never makes mistakes, but he lets that stuff happen. Or maybe there's something you don't know. What do you think is more? You think God forgot something? Even though I don't, I'm just using this to make a point. Cause I don't want to like using the word God, but does he make mistakes or does he not make mistakes? Is he all powerful or if someone gets raped, God was napping that day, or was it supposed to happen? What do you fucking think? It's a hard subject, but I've come to the conclusion that everything happens for a reason. Because if I were to use the word God, I would say God does not make any mistakes. And your little brain, with your awareness, brain's a receiver, so that's just not the way. I'm being a little judgy. Your awareness at the moment is just, you don't know something. You don't understand. Isn't that more probable than God making a mistake? Right? Infinite intelligence, source energy, all that is the moving image of eternity. I don't think he makes mistakes. I think if that's been around, if they've never started and never ended, that's a long time. I think he's got the game by now. I think he knows what he's doing. She knows what he's doing. She knows what he's doing. I like that for some reason, though. No, you don't make mistakes. So any bad thing you can try to throw up because your little mind just wants to throw a wrench into my thought process. Like, well, what about this? What if that? The most, you just blatantly try to find the most crazy thing. It's like the same kind of thing. They pump the news. They choose the bad news to show you guys more. So it's like the same kind of thing. Same kind of tactic. Get the most. Well, what about this? So that I get like, oh, that's horrible. I don't know. No, everything happens perfectly. Every single time, and the only reason you don't see that is because your awareness hasn't gotten to the point yet. But there are plenty of us where it has, and then there are plenty of us where it has on some months and some days, and not the others, and we're all on a scale. And then there's some of us that think we're there and we're not, and then some of us don't even think about it at all, not even close to even coming to any thoughts about this kind of stuff at all. They're just living life, banging out here. Poor saps, Not poor saps. They're the ones that were really far out playing the deep game. The no death, permadeath type of make it as hard as you can game. How gamers are. You get the game, it's hard, and then they make it harder. They have put a million different levels, and then that's not hard enough, and then mod it, make it harder, because humans are just skilled. And they get good at shit. They want to do better. So this game, when you don't know about this stuff and you're just down here willy-nilly like a real-life human, like you're really here, that is the permadeath hardcore mode. Don't know shit. Don't know you're connected. Pinch so far off that you might as well just be a real legit, real life, physical, non-holographic human. Might as well be, because you believe you are and your beliefs are king. That is the permadeath mode. That is super hard mode. But super hard mode, births different game modes when you're fucking sick of it eventually. The Lotus comes forth from that shit. Really is perfect. And I can just see people want to make me do something to me in real life just to fight against that and see what I do. But that, you gotta understand, you're fake. That's faking it, because that wouldn't normally happen if you weren't an asshole or like a dick or so lost in your past traumas and shadows that you don't even know who you are. That wouldn't happen. The life would turn out how it always is. You're interjecting yourself. Like, oh, let me do something so you can show it's not always rainbows and butterflies. No, it is rainbows and butterflies. You're just trying to make it not that way. And in the long run, it's going to help me out. But you didn't have to do it. And it could have been smoother. Can't you see that that's not real life? That's you interjecting yourself, which technically is real life, because that's who you are at the moment. But you understand what I'm saying. You didn't just let it play out. You didn't say, oh, okay, let me just watch his life for a month and see if his life really is that way. No, you're gonna be like, no. Let me put a tripwire out here and trip him, and be like, oh, see, you're livening up. No, you're just a bitch. You're not saying that. You can't see yourself. You're just a fucking asshole. That's all that is. And so I keep my frequency, and then before I know it, there's less assholes around me, and more things around me that match me. And the only assholes I see are like passing on the interstate or something. And I don't know that they're assholes, but they are, because they got to be in my rally kind of somehow. But that way it can be in my rally. Something like that. So, I'll end up moving, or something will happen, or people will move away, whatever. Something will happen. There's many ways that your frequency can omit people without actually having to move to a different place. You can all stay the same place your whole life, but somehow you'll wharf and they'll whoop. You know what I mean? You'll just never see each other again. Every time they try to call or something, something will happen or something. It just, trust. It just happens that way. They're out of your frequency. They can't even talk to you. They can't even talk to you if they wanted to, because they're just not there anymore. You rose. You took what they had to weigh you down, and you use that as fertilizer, and you fucking grew yourself right out of their reality. And it's perfect the way things work, because you can almost feel guilty about that. But the more you raise in awareness and frequency and knowledge, the more you're like, no. So it happens at the perfect time. So you don't get trapped again by feeling guilty and going back. No, you've gotten smart enough to where guilt, you already know what guilt means. What does guilt mean? It's your emotional scale coming down there, letting you have passed the rumble strip of the road and you're off your path. That's what it means. So stop doing what you're fucking doing. And people look at that the wrong way. What about people with no guilt that just run around doing anything? No, because when you really understand this stuff, you're a loving, compassionate person that just radiates love, does not retaliate, doesn't, because you're just smart and you know how things work. It doesn't work that way. Only people that will happen to are the people who are faking it. Then they'll, they might run over their guilt or something like that and just do shit and pretend to be nice in your face. But really, it's just fucking them in the long run. Unless they have a belief system that helps them out around that, but they don't. You can tell they don't just by fucking looking at them. I always got to remember, you can lighten up though and never get angry, because you've been there. I've been there. I was the person that didn't know this stuff, while people around me sure did. I'm sure. You always feel like you're the last of the party. Like, damn, I feel like people already knew this before me. Or it's funny how closed off your reality can be, right? So I was born in 1984. I'm 42, right? Most of my reality, Abraham and Bashar were already doing this shit as I was growing up. They're already doing this shit. People already following them around. We started right in the early 80s and the 90s. I was born in 84, so they're already cracking, and there's people way before them doing this shit. All right? I mean, they're all out there already doing this shit, but I knew nothing about it. I think when I was like really young, I had a stiff of a board, light as a feather thing with some friends. I was really young. I don't know what was going on. That was it. That was my whole spiritual journey up until like 30. I don't know. Anyway, so my reality was completely closed off. I would have never come across any of those people. But as my beliefs changed, then I find out that they've been doing it since 84 or whatever. You know what I mean? Since I was born. It's always been there, but my belief system would have never let it come in until my belief system softened. I had lived enough experience to change my belief system, and all of a sudden I'm finding all these videos, and they've been doing it forever. They've always been there. I could have been learning this stuff since I was born. I could have been learning this stuff. Of course, internet wasn't really a thing, but things change just for you, right? So here pops the internet, and here we are. And then I relay, it's all just like a reverb, a resonant recommunication of, it's like we're all just trying to help each other out, and we're all at different levels, or some people know what's going on, up to the most knowing of what's going on, whatever that is, and all the way down to the most non-knowing, but all part of the same organism. Electromagnetic organism. Too long. Electromagnetism. Sounds dumb. Magno-orga electrophobe. No. Electromag life. No, that's dumb. How about just life implies electromagnetic and whatever the other one was. It just implies that we don't have to change anything, right? Maybe we can make an acronym like love in front of energy. That makes sense. Think of something. Life. It's not even life. It's just what exists. Life. I mean, what's that? There's not. I would. Philosophy. Okay, it gets better. Things can get better. You're never stuck anywhere forever. Not really. So, okay, I'm going off really long. I guess we got 3. I guess we can do it 3, 2, 3.